Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the English Pulse. I'm James.
And I'm Chloe. We're so glad you're tuning in today. We know that navigating the workplace in a second language can feel like a marathon, especially when colleagues start using idioms that don't always mean what they say literally.
Exactly. Today, we're diving into casual work expressions. We've categorized these 9 expressions into 3 distinct stages, starting with initiation, moving through strategy, and wrapping up with the evaluation phase.
By the end of this episode, you'll have 9 essential expressions to help you sound more natural and structured in a professional setting. And if you're following along with our visual guide, the slides will show these expressions clearly so you can review them later.
Let's kick things off with phase 1, initiation. Chloe, imagine it's your first day on a huge new project. What's the first thing you want to do?
Well, I definitely want to put my best foot forward.
Great one. That means to make a good impression or to try your absolute best. On our slide, you'll see the example, when starting a new job, you really want to put your best foot forward.
Now, a subtle difference here. You could say do your best or give it your all, which are similar, but best foot forward specifically suggests that initial effort to show your high quality. It's about the wow factor at the start. I once tried to give it my all by bringing homemade cookies on day 1, but I tripped and dropped them, not exactly putting my best foot forward.
At least you tried. No, once you've made that impression, the boss usually wants you to hit the ground running. This means to immediately work hard and successfully at a new activity.
Right. If you start strong, that's good. But if you hit the ground running, it implies you didn't need a lot of training. You just jumped right in. Our example sentence says, I started my new position last month and I really hit the ground running. It's a very high energy expression.
But before we run too far, we have to get on the same page. This is vital for team consensus. It means to reach a shared understanding or agreement.
Exactly. You might hear people say they want to align or be in sync. An example would be, we need a meeting to make sure everyone is on the same page before the launch.
Moving into phase 2, strategy. This is where we start delegating. Chloe, if I have the whole plan ready, but I need your specific skills for the finish line, I might say, that's where you come in.
I love this one because it explains someone's specific role or how they can contribute to a plan. The slide shows a great example. We have the strategy ready, and that's where you come in to handle the execution.
It's a bit more collaborative than just saying, that's your part. It makes the person feel like a missing puzzle piece. But sometimes the strategy involves a tough choice. That's when we say the pros outweigh the cons.
Meaning there's more good than there is bad. Like if you're deciding on a new office policy, you might say, I think the new work policy will be beneficial because the pros outweigh the cons.
Some people say the benefits exceed the drawbacks, which is more formal, but pros and cons is the go-to for casual meetings. However, plans change. Sometimes they change because of something unexpected or in light of something.
This just means because of. For example, in light of recent developments, the CEO decided to step down.
It sounds a bit more professional than due to. It implies you're adapting to new data. Now, what if someone asks a question during a meeting that's a bit off topic? You'd say you'll circle back to something.
Yes, to return to a conversation or discussion at a later time. You could say, let's just continue, and then at the end I'll answer your question and we'll circle back to it later. It's much politer than saying, stop talking about that. You're just revisiting it later.
Finally, we reach phase 3, evaluation. Not every project is a perfect success. Sometimes we come up short or fall short of expectations.
That's the hard truth phase. It means failing to meet a target or goal. For example, our goal was to increase sales by 20%, but we came up a little short.
You could say you missed the mark, but came up short feels a bit more like you were close but just didn't quite get there.
And once the project is over, you need to explain it to the big bosses. You need to give it to them in a nutshell.
Which means very briefly or giving only the main point. Like, in a nutshell, I just showed them how they can expand their business.
Instead of saying to sum up, in a nutshell makes you sound very natural and confident.
Well, in a nutshell, that is our list for today. We've covered everything from putting your best foot forward to delivering the final verdict.
We hope these expressions help you hit the ground running in your next meeting. Don't forget to check the slides to review the alternate expressions like getting off to a flying start or being in sync.
Thanks for listening to the English Pulse. We'll circle back to you next week with more tips.
Bye, everyone.